in about 2 minutes of game time. So that's the tempo with which we want to play. When we talk about playing fast, it's not a mentality thing. I think some people, when they say play fast, they actually mean play confidently in the way that they talk to their guys. We mean fast. We want the ball spotted. We want the formation set. We want the play called. We want things happening. What I want to talk about as we move through this video, though, is tempo is not our business. We're not in the business of going fast. Tempo is a vehicle that we use to accomplish our actual goal. The business that we're in as an offense is consistency. Our job ultimately, as offensive players and offensive coaches, is to execute consistently. Our goal is not to win the game. Winning the game is something that happens when you do things right. Winning the game is something that happens when you execute consistently. But there's a lot of factors that go into winning that are out of your control as an offensive player. What we can control is how consistently we execute. But for the players to execute consistently, it's our job as coaches to make sure that they're first comfortable and then confident. If the players aren't comfortable, meaning they don't know the material, to use a teaching example, right? If you walked into a classroom and the students don't know the material, they're not comfortable with the material. Our players have to be comfortable with the material. The things that we're teaching them can't be too complicated. They should make basic sense. They should be taught in a logical fashion. And then once they're comfortable with the material, now it's our job to get them confident. And confidence really comes through reps. When you hear people talk about confidence, they talk about it a lot of times as something people just have or don't have. And I don't believe that. I don't think that confidence is just something you inherently have. Confidence is a feeling. And we as coaches, we can give that feeling to our players. We can very easily take that feeling away too. And we've got to be cognizant of that. So we have to get guys comfortable. They've got to know what they're being asked to do. And then we have to get them confident. We have to give them a lot of reps. They've got to go out there and do it over and over and over and over and over. They've got to screw it up. They've got to see themselves on film screwing it up. They've got to get better at it. They've got to watch themselves on film improve at it. They've got to see the difference in their growth so that by the time they hit game day on Saturdays, they're feeling very comfortable with what they're being asked to do. They're confident in their ability to do it. And then they can go out and they can be consistent. But if we don't have these two things, we don't have a shot at this. So that's really our business. And tempo is how we accomplish that. It's how we go about our business. Because what tempo allows us to do is it allows us to maximize our meeting times and our practice times. So it's not just about going fast because we think it's cool and fun, even though it is. It's about going fast because going fast allows us to have better meetings. Going fast allows us to have better practices. Going fast allows us to have better game plans. When we go fast, and let's start with the meetings here. When we go fast, we don't have to carry as much offense because we don't have to worry so much about tendencies. Ultimately, going fast for us helps eliminate defensive recognition time. So from the time that our formation is set and a defensive player could reasonably look out there and think to himself, okay, here's the tight end, here's the back. What does that mean? What are the tendencies? Are they on the same side? Are they on other sides? Are they both split out? Here's the receivers, the strengths over here. It's third and whatever. We're trying to take that time away. I want defensive players to look at the sideline, get their signal, have to internalize that, think about what it means to them, what's my job, my assignment, where do I need to be lined up? And then by the time they think about all that and they get their eyes back to the offense, the ball's being snapped. So we might have some pretty strong tendencies that all the coaches on the other sideline know. But if the players don't have time to process it on the field, it doesn't matter. So it allowed us to really trim down our offense. We were able to, when we went all in on tempo, was probably the offseason of 2021. And we were able to basically cut our offense in half. 70% of our offense last year came on the same 5 schemes. And so our meeting times, because we don't have to carry as much, we get so much more out of that. I don't have to spend 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes on all this new install that's going in. I can spend 20 minutes talking about anything that might be a little bit new. And then I can spend 40 minutes in an hour-long meeting talking about the things that actually matter, the matchups that week, the techniques people are going to play, the reactions we might get. We have time to watch indie film and go through our own guys' techniques and break it down frame by frame. So we're able to have way better meetings. Practice. In a Division III fall camp, you just don't have a ton of practice time, especially with the elimination of two-a-days however many years ago. So it's different than Division II and Division I, where a lot of players are staying over the summer and working out and able to do some things that at the Division III level we weren't able to do. You've got a very truncated window of time that you've got to get everything in and get ready. And by not having as much to rep because we were going fast and being able to rep more of it because we're going fast, we got so many more plays in fall camp. By the time we got to the end of fall camp, I was sick of watching Inside Zone. We'd run it 400 times that year. And then our game plans get way better with tempo. So our goal at Carleton was always to run 90 plays in a game. We, based on our math over the last couple of seasons, we figured out that we were going to have about 20 situational calls. Third and shorts, low red zone, stuff like that. We had a series of one-word run calls that we were going to call about 24 times, which if you divide it up, that's about 6 times a quarter. And then we had some other tempo calls, one-word type stuff that was going to come up about 8 times, probably twice a quarter. And then 12 drive starters, which were in kind of their own category for us. So when you take all that out, the amount of regular downs calls that we actually needed to put up in a game plan every week was 26. And me personally, I'm a guy who usually calls every play twice. So we really only needed like 13 play calls in each game plan. So that all of a sudden makes our game plan so much more trimmed. It allows us to teach it to the kids a lot easier. And it allows us to, again, have way better meetings and way better practices throughout the week so that we're able to get our guys really comfortable with each game plan, really confident in each game plan, and they can go out and be consistent in each game plan. And it's all thanks to tempo. That's why we do this.